So, our speaker is one of the leaders listed on the back of your program. She is a practitioner, and she's a lawyer, and a mom, and a coach, and a workshop leader, a facilitator, trained on both coasts of this country. Please join me in welcoming Dianne.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I always feel like when she's talking about me, there's always this moment when she stops and I think, oh, is that me? I'm supposed to get up. So, good morning.
Good morning.
It's like 70 degrees.
Yes.
Isn't that wonderful? I have on open-toed shoes in the middle of December. Yes. No, we're celebrating, right? So my topic about daring to live life while you're alive. How about that? So let me tell you how it happened. So I have been sitting in silence trying to figure out what the topic was going to be because Reverend Alex is going to text me or call me and send me an email and says, hi, I need your topic. And there was nothing. There was just silence. Silence, like nothing. And so I'm driving to the dentist. Right? And I turn off all the noise in the car and I'm just driving to the dentist and listening. You know, and so all I get is, don't worry, it'll come. So I go into the dentist's office and I'm talking to the woman at the desk and she says, I'm going to live my life while I'm alive. I'm like, whoa, that's it! Topic, I have a topic. So I hurried up and emailed Reverend Alex with my topic. And then I sat with it and I was like, oh, that's very big, right? It's very big to say I'm going to dare to live my life while I'm alive. And I thought, well, why is that big? I'm alive, I'm living, I'm breathing, I'm walking around. I should be living my life. So why does that feel so big? And it feels big because many of us live on a layaway plan. Right? Our lives are all about a layaway plan. You can say it in everything you do, right? So it's Monday, and everybody starts posting, oh, it's Monday. And everybody starts talking about, oh, well, it's Monday, no expectations. You know it's going to be rough, right? Because it's the first day of the work week. And then we start looking forward to hump day because we're halfway done. So we're not living in Monday. We're certainly not living in Tuesday. Because we really want to get to Wednesday so we can check it off and say we're halfway there. We get to Wednesday and we start looking forward to Friday because the work week, quote unquote, ends and thank God it's Friday. And we've built a whole culture and way of being in the world about the layaway plan. So the layaway plan has these factors. When I get ABC, I will be happy. When I am done working, I'll retire, and then I'll be happy. When I have the right job and the right thing, that's when I'm going to be happy. So I'm living, right, in my right now, waiting on the when. So I'm not really in my present. So when I started thinking about it, it's like, yeah, because we spend so much time in the futurizing of our lives, and we're futurizing what we're going to do when we get there. And the future never happens because we're here. We're only here. You're not in Tuesday, you're not in Wednesday, you're not in Saturday, or you're not in 65 or 95 or whatever your when is. You're not there, you're right now. So to live your life fully and live it while you're alive, you ought to be living it in the right now. So what does that mean, right? It means that you have to have faith. You have to have faith that if you live right now, and if you step into the expansion of your life right now, that everything else will work itself out. And it's like, okay, faith. So I looked up faith, right? Because I always, you know what a word means and you use it all the time, but then, and you remember, what your grandma said at church and other people about a word, and then you look it up and it's like, oh, aha, here we go. So the definition that I found today was, faith is an unshakable belief in the truth without evidence of unseen things. That's one definition, right? So what does that mean? What do I believe in? It's what I believe in which I have faith, that governs and guides how I live my life. So if I'm going to live my life today as if I'm alive, it has to be based in something. It has to be based in a belief. It has to be based in a set of principles by which I live my life. So what does that mean? What do I have faith in? I believe in something, right? And I live my life from that place. Now, there are two types of belief. There's the surface mind belief. That's the one that we've either been taught or we've picked up along the way through experience. That is the one that most of us live our lives from. Unless, of course, we're tapped into our inner selves, which is the other belief, the one that we have always known. We have always known, absolutely, no holds barred, and if we're ever still long enough, we will tap into that truth that we are perfect, whole, and complete just the way we are. That we are created in the image and likeness of that which created us. That there's no place absolutely where we are detached, separate from the Creator, because we are it. We are completely one with the presence. Because we say God is a presence, that means that it's never absent. God is never absent. God is always present. There's no spot where God is not. So we know absolutely, unequivocally, as children, we always knew that we were safe. We always knew that everything was okay. We played from that place when we were 2. We just tried it. We touched it. We went out. We ran down the stairs without being worried about, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall. We played. We went outside and we talked to little kids without thinking, they're not going to like me. We were 2. We just lived our lives from a place of knowing that all is well. I'm connected. She's connected. He's connected. We're all connected. We're one. There's no difference. And then we started with the surface beliefs, right? And they started piling on. And they started creating a sense of separation, a sense of separateness, a sense of different from. And now we've got these dueling belief systems that we're living our lives from. There's the part of us that knows that absolutely I was made to be happy. Absolutely I was made to create. I was made to make mud pies, and I was made to create great films, and I was made to write wonderful books, and I was made to be like a magistrate, and I was made to be a teacher, and I was made to be awesome and magnificent, and to be a friend, and to be a lover, and to be a mate and a partner. I was made to be all of that. And then surface mind says, but wait, remember that you got fired from your job. Remember that he broke your heart. Remember that she left you. Remember that so-and-so died. And you start juggling. And you're not living anymore, because now you're starting to listen to the surface belief system. You're putting all your faith in that, and you start to get frozen. So you develop survival skills, right? And the survival skills are, this is how I keep my life intact. I wake up every morning, I make my coffee, I sit down for 5 minutes, I have my coffee, I go to the bathroom, I brush my teeth. I do it this way every day, and it works for me, and I'm safe in my life. And I go to work and I drive on the street and I focus on the road and I don't take a different route. And I don't do anything different. I have created my way of being in the world. Saturday mornings I get up and clean. We don't clean any other day. It's Saturday mornings that we clean. Saturday afternoons we go to the grocery store. That's what we do. That's how we live. I'm safe. And now you're just hanging out in your life and you're existing in your life, but you're not alive anymore. You're not living. You've put yourself in a box. It's safe and secure. And it's familiar, but it's not about living your full life that you came to live, because you were born with a magnificent gift. Whether it's to be a really good friend, whether it's to be a wonderful lover and partner and helpmate to someone, whether it's to be an incredible teacher or a great musician, whatever it is, if you put yourself in the box, you're not living anymore. So here's my personal definition of faith. My personal definition of faith is that faith is courage to walk through fear. That is I live by that. It is courage to walk through fear. That does not mean that fear doesn't happen. That does not mean that it doesn't rear its head and say, oh my God, things are changing. That doesn't mean that doesn't happen. It doesn't mean that you don't feel the sense that all the air just got sucked out the room and you can't breathe. That doesn't mean that that anxiety doesn't come up, that you're not worried about your money. What it means is that when you have faith and you trust in the power and the presence of that which created you, when you trust and stand in that, then you stand in courage. And you walk through the thing, the fear that allows itself, the fear that comes up, that thing that is like bubbling up that's telling you, oh no, don't do it, stop, wait, don't try. What if you don't do it? What if you fail? What if you don't succeed? They're going to see you, they're going to know that thing. And then you tap into the inner self, into the faith, which is the courage, and you say, so what? What if I fall? At least I tried. What if I fail? Then I need to try a different thing or a different way. What if all that I'm afraid of is just nothing in the first place? And it's just an idea that I worried about. You know, they talk about how you worry about stuff that never actually happens, so you're living it now even though it hasn't happened, but you're so worried that he's going to break your heart, that she's going to leave, that you're going to get fired, that you spend all your time in this energy of fear living something that may never ever actually happen, or may happen just because you keep trying to make it happen in your worrisome self. So you stand in the courage and you stand in the knowing that I have never been dropped. So now here comes where your experience comes in, right? You start to look back at your life and you start to think about, well, where are the places that my absolute faith demonstrated itself? Where are those places that I absolutely knew something was going to be okay and it turned out okay? Where are those places that I took a risk and I thought, oh my God, if I publish this book, everybody's going to laugh at me. I'm not even an author. And then you publish a book and nobody laughed and everybody's excited and you disproved yourself. Where are those places? And when you stand in the awareness of that, then you start to step forward and, oh, I have proof, not surface mind proof, but real inner self proof that I stood up in courage in my life for something. And it unfolded in a great and magnificent way. And it unfolded in a way that served my soul. And so now you want to look at your life and say, so how am I going to live this life? Oh, she's talking about live your life while you're alive. Okay, what does that mean? What does it mean to live my life? It means to be doing the thing that your heart is calling you to do. And you know it. Every person sitting in this room knows what the heart is calling them to do. Their own individual heart self is telling them, love her. It's telling them, you know, take the risk and write the book. Tell the story. It's telling you, play the music and let them see you in your most vulnerable state as you create your art and unleash it on the world. It's telling you, go out there and take those classes and get those grades. It's telling you what to do in your inner self. It's calling you forth. It's saying, retire and see what happens next. Ta-da! Live your life out loud. It's telling you, give it a shot. Don't worry that you've always for 30 years worked in this government office. Go ahead now and say, I'm retiring and I'm going to throw it all up in the air and see where it lands and take that risk. It's calling you to be courageous, to be amazing. It's calling you to say, yes, I'm going to study more. I'm going to meditate more. I'm going to do this life visioning thing. Okay? I'm going to try it and I'm going to see what it's calling me to do. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to try to be this thing. I'm going to study this subject that nobody knows about and everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy. It's calling you forth and you know it. And the choice that you get to make is to step into it and say, I am going to do this. It feels scary. It's new. It's uncomfortable, right? Because it's not my usual box that I live in. I have to make space in my life to do this thing. If I'm going to do this thing, I have to adjust the boundaries that I've set, and I've got to expand and let people in. Uh-oh. You know when you let people in, right? It's like, now I'm going to stand in vulnerability and allow you to see me and be with me and know that I'm scared and know that this is overwhelming for me. And I'm going to do it anyway because I have faith that no matter what, it's going to be all right. So I'm ready to live my life from that place. And it's about baby steps. It's not about like, please no, I'm not encouraging anybody to go to work tomorrow and say, I quit, I'm out of here, bye. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not encouraging you to go home and say, that's it, I'm done, I'm packing up, I'm moving to Costa Rica. I'm going to build a house on the beach. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying go within and find out what is calling you from deep within your soul. You know it. For some of us, it's a really loud call. We already know. And for some of us, we have to be still. We have to take the time to be still and sit in the quiet and say, okay, what is mine to do? You know, it's a lot of what we look at is the life visioning. We use, you know, my teacher Michael Bernard Beckwith created this process called the life visioning process. So one of the ways that you tap into what is your heart calling you to do is to sit still and say, okay, what is God's highest idea for my life right now? And you sit with that and you allow you allow what's going on deep within your soul to come up. What's calling you, the dream, the thing that you know you're supposed to be doing, but you're doing other stuff instead. You know, like you know you should be painting and, you know, getting ready to put your art at the museum or at the market. You know you should be looking at going down to the market and getting a booth and putting your beautiful jewelry out for sale. You know this, but your inner self is ready, but your outer self, the surface self, is saying, no, but we've got to pay the bills and we've got to, and it's an idea that life is a zero-sum game, that you can't do one, or that you have to do one or the other, that you can't do both. But you can do both. When I listen to all the things that Reverend Alex was saying that I do, I realize you can, you know, again, affirming, you can do both. You can speak, you can teach, and you can go to work every day and be a lawyer too. And you can raise your children. And it's not mutually exclusive. You don't have to pick one over the other. You can choose to live in a balance and allow all of who you are to come to the surface, because no person on this planet is single-faceted. There is no human being that was created by the great Creator that has only one purpose, that has only one gift, one talent, one skill. You are only here to do this. You're only here to be their father. Or you only came on the earth to be his wife or her wife. That's not who you are. You are more than that. You're greater than that. You have so many different facets to who you are. And part of being on the planet is to unleash it and let it out, right? So you're letting it out. And you're standing in your awareness that who you are is magnificent. So now, what do? How do I tap into that? Because right now, I'm really locked and loaded on this single-faceted life. I go to work, I come home, I clean my house on Saturday mornings, I buy my groceries on Saturday afternoon. That is what I do. I go to church on Sunday, and then I watch a football game. That's my life. That's how I live. What do you mean live fully? I want to live fully, but I don't even know how to get my butt up off the couch. I don't even know how to get up off the couch. And I'm telling you, stand up. Just stand up and walk away from the television for 1 minute. Turn off the noise. Because a lot of what we do with the noise is we drown out the inner voice. We don't want to hear what's going on within our own selves. So we've got the music going and the television and all these things. So take some steps to quiet yourself. When you're in the car, you don't have to listen to the news the whole way to where you're going. You don't have to listen to the music at the loudest volume or pitch that you can. You don't have to even have it on. You can go into silence and tap into your inner self, and then you ask yourself, what is mine to do? What am I here to do? And then you sit with it. You sit with it and allow it to rise to the surface. Because once you realize what you're here to do, I was posting about this because I was visioning with my prayer partner, and here's the thing, man, you can't unring the bell. My friend told me that. He said it, and I was like, what? You can't unring the bell. And when you go into the place, and this is what happens, what you're called to do is calling you. It's calling you. And you know it, and you hear it, and you try to act like it's not happening. Now you're creating your own misery. Now you're creating your own discomfort. You're creating your own pain. The reason why it hurts, the reason why you're lonely, the reason why you're feeling all the stuff you're feeling is because you're not listening to that which is calling you. It's really simple stuff. It's not because she left you. It's not because he left you. It's not because you got fired. It's not because you didn't get a chance to do this or do that. It's because you have not listened to what is calling you within. You were born with your own spiritual DNA. It calls you forth to do your thing. Whatever your thing is, whether it's going up to New York and becoming the great crochet artist. We had a member that went up to New York and he's like the brother that knits. And he's knitting. Now he's teaching like all these senior citizens and he's got art shows and he's knitting up a storm all over New York City. And I'm like, who knew that you could knit and make a life out of knitting? But he knew because he listened to the voice within. And he wasn't on an assembly line of knitters that knit handmade sweaters for the wealthy. He decided, I'm going to use my knitting and I'm going to make it my life and I'm going to paint beauty all over the planet. And I'm going to move to New York. And we were all sort of like, well, good luck. Have a good time. But nobody was like, you know, going, yeah, that sounds really great. I mean, a lot of us were like, this is interesting. You know, and then he went on up to New York and he followed his inner voice. He's got this whole amazing thing going on with a book and senior citizens and art centers, and it's amazing what he's done with knitting. He used to sit here with his bag of wool and just knit. And we would watch him. It was an interesting thing, you know, but he followed the thing that called him. Every one of us has it. We have a thing that calls us. And then now, remember the song that was played, The Impossible Dream, right? No matter how lonely your path is on your journey to your impossible dream, your dream is yours alone. That's why it's going to feel like it's lonely, because what you were born to do is only you. And only you can deliver that gift in the special way that you do. Sure, there may be 100 people that can sing, or 1,000, and can hit that note, but the way you deliver it, your delivery is the only delivery that matters. You are the only one that can unleash your own soul's call on the planet. No one else can do the great thing that you came to do. And I learned that through time. I learned that through experience. I had a wonderful woman in my life for many years. Her name was Marcy, and Marcy was just like this amazing being. She was like but she was very creative. She was technical, you know, and she built internet and wrote software, stuff I didn't understand. I mean, like, she could just go in and write a software like Blackboard or something like that within, like, she'd just sit down and do it in a couple of hours. You know, oh, I'm going to do this. And so she worked in a high function, you know, high technical, high level job. And she was working through some things in her personal life. And so whenever it came to her personal life, she would just kind of, you know, retreat. So she was like a hummingbird. You know, she would just flitter away if you got too close to the personal stuff. If she was dealing with, you could talk to her about any sort of computer program you wanted all day long. But if you wanted to talk to her about the place inside, the thing inside, that the love that she had brought to the planet, that she had locked up because her father died before she was born in Vietnam. And she carried that hurt with her, and that loneliness with her, right? And she hadn't tapped into it, and she didn't know what that gift was for her to do with that. So she locked herself in this little box. And I remember the moment that she and I sat and we did some work together, and she came into, this is when I had just started being a coach too, right, being a spiritual counselor, so it was that this was some really big stuff, and she was sitting on my sofa, and we were talking, and she was sharing some things with me, and she shared some really big things with me, and at that point, I didn't have any experience in what she was talking about, but I had the presence with me, and I just allowed what needed to happen through me, because I knew I, by myself, had nothing that I could give to her, but that I had allowed myself and committed to being a vessel for the truth to come through me. So we did this work together, and then I watched her unfold, like just blossom. It was like watching this flower opening. And I thought, that's what I came to do? This is the work that I'm here to do? Meanwhile, I'm in law school, right? But I'm thinking, this is the work that I came to do. And then I started to see the benefit of the yes, of when you say the yes and you get one-on-one with someone, and they start doing the work and applying the teachings and stepping into themselves, and they start living in freedom. It turns out that Marcy was able to release all of the hurt, let it go, and do all the things she came on the planet just in time for her to leave the planet at 30 years old. And it was the most powerful, hands down, no holds barred experience I've ever had. Because she decided, no matter what, she was going to tap into her stuff. No matter how much she ran, she asked me, don't let me run from you, catch me. And so she would run and I would catch her and I'd say, come on over, let's do this work. And she'd sit on my sofa and we'd do this work, and she would go off and live some more and come back and we'd do some more work. And she was doing the work. I was just facilitating. I was just sort of like on the edge of things going, okay, okay. And she was tapping into her own soul, into her own yes. She chose and dared to live the most magnificent life, and the things that she did in her life still blow me away. Some of them I will never try, like I'm never hiking the Appalachian, and I'm never climbing Mount whatchamacallit up in Vermont. We're not doing that in the winter. You know what I mean? But I might go to the Grand Canyon and hike that. You know, but she did stuff, and it was like really amazing to watch her. And she took people on her journey, and she took people into a place where only she could, because of what she had experienced in her own life and because of the gift that she had brought on the planet. And she did that all on her own. Again, as her spiritual counselor, all I got to do was sit there and facilitate and sort of hold the space for her as she dared to grow. And when I got the call, what was really interesting was when I got the call that she had made her transition and she had released her body, I felt first surprise, because she was so young. And then I felt this incredible amount of joy, because I had witnessed for 4 years this woman live this incredible life. And what it tapped into for me is, choose what you want now in your life and live it. Choose happiness, choose joy, choose love, choose creativity. Whatever it is that you want, choose painting, choose artwork, choose music. Choose to be a creator of all things. Choose to build a house. Choose to do whatever it is that you've come to do, and choose to do it now. And then step fully into it and allow your life to be magnificent. So way back then, I was learning how to live my life and to courageously live my life through walking with someone else. How to live my life while I'm alive. And what does that mean? We all know what it means. It means you're going to stand up and you're going to live in the thing that's calling you, the voice that's calling you, the place within yourself that you have come to do. You're going to play the music. You're going to sing your song. Ricky Byers-Beckwith says, Spirit says to sing your song, and everybody has a song to sing. We're going to sing our song, and whatever that song is, you're going to choose to stand in it, sing it, and live it. And you start with baby steps. The first thing you do is get up off the couch. Just get up off the couch and do something different. Don't lock yourself into a system that says, this is how I am. Release yourself from that crap, because that's not how you are. That's just how you have come to be because, or you've chosen to be because you needed to survive your situation. This is not just how you are. There is no just how you are. You're amazing. You're always unfolding. You're incredible. And you're always growing and expanding into more. You're never the same. Your body's never the same. Your cells change every day. The skin releases and new skin grows. Everything is different. You're breathing different air. You are never the same. So you're not, this is not just how you are. Those words you release, you let go, and you start to say, I am amazing. I am incredible. And if that seems like really goofy to you, you start to say things like, that's not just how I am. Negate the foolishness. If you cannot stand up in the mirror and say, I'm magnificent, I'm amazing, I think, if that feels goofy, then say something else to yourself. That's not all I am. I'm more than this. My life is worth more than this. I deserve more than this. I am more than this. And then you start to live your life from that place. You step into your truth and allow yourself to live fully alive now while you're alive.